Yeah, I mean, I think we went into the week of practice in where we had finally everybody on the roster, all 17 were available to play, even though they were limited minutes. So going into the game, we knew we would have a little bit more than we've had, as far as for coming off the bench. I thought we played extremely tough. I think that's what you got. When you go into an environment like that, you got to be, everybody's. I mean, it was just like all week. Everybody's feeling sorry for us. Like, man, you're going into, it's like all my friends and supporters is like, whoa, it's going to be a tough game. Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. But, you want to play some of the better teams if you can to see where you measure up to. And to me, for us, it was about how hard we played. 12 years ago, we made a commitment to come in here and try to get kids to play hard and, do it the Cajun way, I call it. And I thought we did that, even the whole game, even though we went down by whatever at the end of the game, we played hard. I mean, there was some things that went in the game that we could have easily quit. And I remember being in timeouts and stuff like that. And Brandy Williams and D. Rice and all them are like, okay, let's get back going. I know we're down a little bit now. So, I saw a lot of positive things, not just in the basketball part, but the leadership. And so, you're doing it the right way. I was really impressed with our coaches and how our scout was. Defensively, we did some things that we haven't done in, I'll say 30 years for me. Our defensive coordinator, Coach Sanders, put together a little zone defense that we did some different movements and stuff, and it was very, very effective. I think that's what Kim said after the game. She said, man, that game plan was kind of threw us off, kept us off balance. And I know they adjusted at half, but I thought we did some good things. And that's all you ask for, kids to play hard, play together, stay connected, and that's what they did.
So is it something that you can kind of repeat here and there in a right matchup down the road?
I was thinking about it last night and this morning. I think I'm going to just go ahead and pre-conference just play in the SEC. Because you play up. I mean, it's just, I don't care what sport it is. If you watch it, everybody plays up to the competition, So when you play better teams and kids are more focused and they know that they're going to have to play a certain way. But yeah, I think that's going to be something that I think we talked about after the game was, hey, can we, still have that mindset that every possession is going to count. Every, no matter what team you're playing, you got to be able to play your basketball, not play down to whatever they are up to it, just be consistent. And I think that's the hardest thing these days to coach is how do you get them to be consistent? So, I mean, it's going to be tough.
Coach, to piggyback off of that, yesterday was probably one of the more physical performances I've seen your team play. Was that part of the game plan, or was that just, like you said, playing up to the competition?
I think it's just how they play. In Auburn was the same thing. I don't know if y'all noticed in the Auburn game in the third quarter, it got very, very physical and stuff like that. And I think that's just the SEC, bigger, stronger, faster. And I think for us, everybody looks at us like as we are. I mean, for 12 years, we're too small, we're too this, we're too that. So, you just show up and play. But yeah, that was probably one of the more physical games that I've coached in my lifetime. It was very, very physical. And I mean, it was just both ways, and it just kind of wears you down, I think. So that's kind of, I don't think when we get in the Sun Belt, it's not going to be the same thing. And maybe we are a little bit more physical than I thought. Inside, I thought we did a pretty good job of guarding them the first half. And then actually I think we were 14 points in the paint. There were maybe 6. And then all of a sudden, the second half, it turned around. But yeah, it was a very physical game, especially in the open court. It's like there was, how do you remember they used to call it the hand checks? I mean, they were grabbing, holding, and everything. And it's like, hey, let's play. And that's really ref that. He said, we're gonna let them be physical. So, it works kind of both ways. It makes you better. I think it made us better.
You mentioned about hearing so much.
They shot 35 free throws in the last 3 quarters.
Yeah. They shot 17 the first half, and we shot 3. Yeah, and we physical.
You mentioned about, hearing things in the timeout. Brandy, D. Rice, do you feel like this game could kind of be a defining moment for your team to like propel them to saying like, hey, if we could compete with a level of caliber of team like this, and we can do it with anybody and push you guys on a run?
You would hope so, and you kind of feel it, it's like, I mean, we were with these kids every day for 4 years, some of them 3 years, and Brandy 5 years, and so when you're with them every day, you know how they're growing and they continue to grow. And I think that's kind of what happened with them last night is like, it's like we talk about player-led team all the time, and it's like you're sitting there and you listen to what they're saying, and it's like, yeah, this is what we want, this is what we need, and we can continue it on? Can we be more consistent? I know one thing for sure is our leadership is a lot more consistent than it's ever been, and I think that's going to be a big thing. Can we continue to grow it? Because it's really easy when you're playing well and you're doing good things. It's when it goes the other way. I think when you're struggling shooting the ball, defending, rebounding, and all that, I think, that's when the leadership, to me, can hold it down. And that player-led team is a lot better than a coach-led team in those situations.
Offensively, what did y'all do that gave you hope that y'all can use that and apply that to the future when you get to conference?
I think, they were playing man, and they were very aggressive on the ball. But a lot of times when we would drive and pitch, and we talked about it, was instead of just shooting it because of their length, just shot fake. And Brandy's such a good shooter, they were jumping, and we were going right by them and shooting the jump shot. And to me, that's what I recruit. I recruit jump shooters, not three-point shooters. And then we try to create them into a three-point shooter. But, Brandy came in not being a three-point shooter, and she can shoot it, But I think that was the biggest thing, Lene played a little bit, and that's what we wanted from her. We want them to get into the elbow. They can't get, it's difficult for them to get in the lane with size. But if they can go by their man, 1 or 2 dribbles, and either pitch it again or shoot it. And that's the offense worked because of the shot fakes and the ball fakes and that, in my opinion, because we talked about it. And it's like they almost got excited in the timeouts about it when you talk about, man, this is what, dribble drive and stuff is really, really good right now for. Be ready for it. And Brandy really bought into it. I thought Brandy had a great game, So, and then, I'm a believer is always try to put the ball in people's hand that can score. And I thought that's what we did. We didn't settle for threes last night. We shot some, but it was within the flow of our offense.
You mentioned playing in the SEC, obviously LSU and Auburn, some of the toughest environments. What do you take from that, them being able to perform well in those tough environments?
Well, you hope that when by the time the conference tournament comes around and stuff like that, and those games are really big. I mean, because it's do or die. I kind of like that situation for our kids because they come in and they know that, hey, you got to take care of business and stuff like that. So you put them in that environment and stuff like that. I think I don't know if I wouldn't want to be in there if I'm a player, It's like, man, I'm going to come. I heard Coach just talk about, when you come to college, what do you want, And I think you want to be in that environment. You want, it's like, I would say probably a lot of people would love to play for LSU, It's, every sport is pretty dang good over there. So and I'm a Louisiana kid too, I had an opportunity to run track there, but I decided over here instead. So, you look at it and it depends what you want, but most kids want to go there. So might have been a lot of players, my team is half from Louisiana or maybe even a little bit more than half compared to theirs. And, sometimes you just don't get recruited by it. So I think you put them in that situation and they get there and they get to play against somebody that, they really, they want to compete and show that they can compete against. I think that's the big thing. And, there was 10,000 people last night. It didn't really feel that way, because I think we took them out of the game. It wasn't loud. It wasn't, it was just like maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people were there. Now, they did have some runs when they started making some runs. It got a little bit, but it never bothered us. I didn't think. Actually, I think it got us going, or we got ourselves going. And that environment was really, I think our kids walked away was like, man, I think we kind of controlled some of the game by doing what we did.
What about Lamar?
Lamar, man, they're always tough to play, man. Guard oriented. They want to get up and down. It's going to be a tough one. We've been splitting with them almost every year. We usually went over there and they went over here. Last year we ended up losing there because D. Rice went out in the first 6 or 8 minutes because of a concussion. So we're hoping that we have everybody and we're able to kind of get going. And we really got to use this game to be able to play those that are out. Sam's playing again. You got Yanaya played a little bit last night. Lene, we need to get them in the game and see how they can perform. And hopefully they can get a little bit more minutes.
Glad to have a kind of a home stretch here. Yeah, back at home.
Yeah, back at home, 4 games. But we hadn't been in the Dome. I can't remember, what's the last time? November 27th is the last time we've been in the Dome, and we're going in today. But we just going in today, tomorrow, and then we play on the 13th. We back out again because of graduation, Then we come back on the 17th, play.
Hard to shoot?
Yes, it's very difficult. And then I don't know if you noticed on the north side, they took the bleachers down, and that's our second half shooting. And they have that open area. Man, you should see it. It's a big difference. We always shoot on that side now for practice, so we can kind of get used to it when we're in there. So it's difficult, But I mean, it's difficult for the incoming teams too. So I guess it all equals out. But when you can see a bad game in the Dome because both teams sometimes aren't going to shoot it very well.